Are you looking to maximize the amount of money that you can make from side hustles? If so, don't forget to join the Side Hustler Society newsletter so you can stay up to date and posted on when we come out with new content. By joining the newsletter, you will also receive Chapter 5 of my best selling book, The Anatomy of Financial Success. This chapter specifically focuses on income as well as the various types of income and what income will work best for you based on your expectations and overall what you want when it comes to money. Go to www.fachapter.com to join the newsletter and get started. When it comes to side hustles or hustling in general, I think one of the oldest, professions you could say in the book is being able to be a vendor. This actually goes back to the ancient times, like where you have merchants set up in a traffic area where there's going to be a lot of people going through, and they have like various things that they offer: fruits, foods, little inventions, taking this stuff back all the way to the ancient times. And that never really went away. It's just become modernized. In today's time, these are known as vendor events. I think these are pretty popular among like MLMs or multi-level marketing, where you purchase product, then you move it at these vendor events for a fee or a higher fee than you bought them for. Even if it's not MLM, this business model is pretty known and it's pretty widespread. But there's a science to being able to move a lot of product at vendor events. That's what we're going to be talking about in this video or this podcast of the Side Hustler Society. I'm your host, Elijah, and today we're going to be bringing on one of my colleagues, Jacqueline. She's the owner of a business called Is Butter Baby, a business that's focused on health and wellness skin products, both oils and shea butters. She's been in the business for about 15 years and been self-employed for about 15 years. So she has a lot of game to offer when it comes to moving products online, as well as moving products offline at vendor events, such as obviously how to move product at vendor events, how to gauge exactly if an event is worth your time, so you don't just show up, no one is there, then you just kind of wasted your time. How to gauge if it's worth it to pay at a vendor event, because a lot of people don't know that sometimes vendors have to pay for a slot, like $100, $200, sometimes in the four figures, just to be able to set up at these big events. But the return could be worth it if you gauge it right. We'll be going into this and more in today's episode of the podcast. So let's go ahead and get started.
Welcome to the Side Hustler Society podcast with your host, Elijah Bilel. This is where you can find out more about hustles that are best for you. And of course, make more money in the process. Elijah has been in the gig economy and freelance space for over 5 years and has done over 3,000 deliveries on Uber Eats. He's an Airbnb superhost, runs multiple YouTube channels, and is the author of the best-selling book, The Anatomy of Financial Success. It's his mission to empower people with the tools needed to be successful. Now, welcome your host, the king of side hustles, Elijah Bilel.
All right, Issa. So how's your day going so far?
Going pretty good, Elijah. How's yours?
So far, so good.
Yeah.
You know, the weather is starting to cooperate, but it's still more or less hot as hell.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And it rained like 2 weeks here where I am in Mississippi. Oh my gosh. People kept saying, I think I see Noah's Ark going up the street.
Oh gosh. You know, that's funny because almost the whole summer, this is abnormal for Texas, we didn't get any rain. And then we must have got some of that 2 weeks rain too, because like every other day it just started raining.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not talking about casual rain. I'm talking about like pouring down.
Flooding rain.
So that's the balance of the equation, I guess. Yeah. Like driving through residential neighborhoods, you saw like grasses that hadn't been watered, all brown and crispy. And then when the rain got done with them, they're a jungle forest.
Yeah, that's true. I also saw on the highway in Dallas something about it flooded on the highway.
Yeah, I can't recall which one. It wasn't near me, but I did hear about that.
Yeah. But it flooded here too. So yeah, it was everywhere. It was bad. I'm glad like you said, everything is good. It's hot, but it's at least we're not flooding.
Right. All right. So when it comes to, I'll just say the hustle, I would say that you're one of the greatest hustlers that I've ever known. I always see you getting it in, not just with Is Butter Baby, but just other endeavors. So like before we hop into like more, I guess, traditional questions, well, why don't you tell the audience a little bit about yourself? Like what motivates you to be a hustler more or less, or at the very least start like It's So Butter Baby?
Well, It's Butter Baby was kind of like, it wasn't intentional. It was something that happened by happenstance. It was an ends to a means in the beginning. An unforeseen end to a mean. I had no idea I was going to get into that kind of relationship, but I did. I don't know where you are with faith, but I asked the creator for a different change in my current career. I for years I've worked in corporate and in administration, never having the ability to climb the ladder, fairly and justly. Worked in and out of companies, and just I got to a point where I was just like, please free me from this, having to work for other people. But I stumbled I stumbled on It's Butter Baby. Just, it's like the whole time, the creator had a plan, but I didn't know what it was. So
So you come from corporate America. What did you do when you were in corporate America?
secretary, receptionist, any type of clerical work, data entry, data analyst. Like I just kept going and kept going. And like I said, you hit that ceiling to a certain extent, so, and then, it becomes entrapment at the time. Now I used to love my job, but you love your job until something happens, then you no longer love your job. So, it happens.
Got you. Okay, okay. Yeah, I can personally relate to that. I mean,
Mhm.
I got the vibe. This is why I left Amazon, but I was a PA at Amazon. But I just got the vibe that I wasn't living up to my full potential. And at the time, I had the sales skills to actually go out and make money.
Mhm.
So it just came down to, look, this isn't going to get off the ground unless I officially let this go. I
Yeah.
just know that was going to be the best situation for me.
Yeah.
I can't have like a side cushion in order to bring something out to its fullest. Now, I'm not telling everyone to go quit their job necessarily
Yeah.
and do their hustle full time. I just knew that was the direction that I had to go to build something like pretty big.
Yeah. Yeah. And that I thought that was so interesting, because while I asked to be freed from my job, I had no idea that I was going into business for myself until it like landed at my lap.
Wow.
Um and even during that time, it was just baffling how it was unfolding. Starting a business is like being in a relationship. You're dating it, you don't know much about it, you're getting to know it, you're asking it questions, trying to troubleshoot what it needs and what it doesn't need. And um
Mhm.
and then it becomes a part of you. You're sleeping with it, it's in your dreams, you wake up in the morning, you're thinking about it, you're constantly thinking about it. And then the newlywed phase of business is where you're so excited and you have all these new ideas to share with the world, and you already planning and pre-planning what you're gonna do. And it's everything so exciting and brand new and fresh and everything. You're constantly innovating. You're like, well, here's my 3-year plans, my 5-year plans, my 10-year plan. But as you go along, like in a marriage, you finally get married to it, you get the licenses, the litigation, everything like that. And now you're on your honeymoon, where you're you're smooth sailing, everything's good and coasting in the business. But then, up, here comes this bump. Anything from product problems to money problems to digital problems, promotional problems, marketing
Mhm.
problems. And you're just like, you're trying to figure out, still trying to figure out your curve, your customer base, your consumer base. The entire time you're still growing, but now there's setbacks and move forwards. It's like, it's a whole relationship, man. Yeah, it's a relationship. But over the years, um, I've been in with this Butter Baby for about a little over 20 years, technically, about 15 years officially.
Mm-hmm.
And it basically, like I said, it's just a life's journey, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. I absolutely love this butter baby. It's a wonderful product. I can't not use it. If that's like, did I say that right?
Yeah,
Can't.
that works.
Okay, I can't not use it. I absolutely love how it makes my skin feel. I know what it does and what the benefits and properties are. So, and I'm like really proud to have produced such a product that, everyone that's come into contact with it, that's smelled it, that's like sampled it and touched it and looked at it, they absolutely love it.
Actually, this is a good segue
Mhm.
for the everyone who doesn't know what is the business. How about you like explain it to us? Like, what is it's Butter Baby?
Well, it's butter baby. It's a statement for, you actually say it's butter baby. It's a statement, but it's for all natural earth and skincare shea butters in particular. We have a total of 67 shea butters. In all, we work with local and international farms for their extracts, botanicals, and natural oils and herbs. So you have flowers, which are your botanicals. You have your herbs like your lavenders, your basils, your oreganos, and then you have your extracts like your fruits and vegetables, or sometimes you can make nutmeg, is even though it's a nut, it's still pressed and made into an extract. You can make it an oil too. So some of them are interchangeable, just as a fun fact. But we then work with some people in Ghana, and they directly import our shea butters bi-monthly, and what that does is solidify the vitality of them. So we're making sure, and because I've come across in my line of work, some shea butters that really aren't up to par. They're not, fresh, but now, like, my consumer base is broad enough where people know the texture of it. They notice the consistency of it. When you look at it, it looks like frosting. It's very fluffy and whipped creamy.
Frosting.
And then the next thing people want to do, you've seen it where they've literally asked, "Can you eat this?" It's like, no, you can't. Okay, not yet. But as a side note, you actually can eat shea butter. Shea butter is found in Lindt chocolate, Jardelli chocolate, and Godiva chocolate. Mostly Lindt chocolate, that's a Swiss chocolate, and a lot of Swiss chocolates use shea butter because it gives it a very creamy consistency. And with that being said, that's the shea butter that I use. I use all natural organic shea butters. I make sure there are no chemicals in our shea butter. And simply because it serves its natural purpose. It does what it's supposed to do, which is to help cellular regenerate the skin. So
Mm-hmm.
that includes any skin ailments like eczema, psoriasis, dark marks and blemishes, any type of razor bumps, any type of surgical markings, any type of
Mm-hmm.
acne, any type of rashes, anything that occurs on the skin, on the topical external part of the skin, shea butter takes care of. So and we the 67 part, I mean 67 different aromats. We don't call them fragrances because there are no chemicals. Once again, we call them aromesks. But they had just been developed with our customers. Our customers are calling, and you ain't got no coconut, baby. I like coconut with my. Maybe you want to make a pina colada or something. We get calls
So
all the
you
time.
get calls about like different scents that you can put in there.
Yeah, yeah. And so we go research where the best local or international farm that harvests that, and then we, yada yada yada, and then now we're proud to say we have those scents. So, and it's all because of our customers. We call them our butter babies. Our butter babies are, they literally, and those are our children. That's the children of the business. So
Okay,
they're the
because
ones that tell us
I'm a
what they
customer, so
need.
I'm a butter baby, huh?
You're a butter baby, yes, sir. And you tell us what you need, and we make sure that we accommodate that. We provide it within the guidelines. Because like I said, we want to make sure that whatever everything that you're getting is all natural and it's earthen. So that's the beauty of it all. But it just overall feels good on the skin.
Okay. So powerful skin product. Obviously, all the ailments that she had mentioned can assist with that, and even just for the more casual problem of if you're ashy, you know, it could definitely address that problem. I mean,
Oh, Exactly. I
You,
know.
you don't want to be out on a date and things escalate and you haven't taken care of that. That could be kind of embarrassing, I would imagine.
I've seen it so many. And, it's it's an occupational hazard for me at this point. When I can't help it. Like my eye is literally trained to see ash.
Oh, oh gosh. So you could be walking through the mall, and like in the summertime, you got people wearing tank tops, short stuff,
Oh
and
my
like you
God.
just, oh, that person's asking you, oh, that person's asking you. Like even the
Everywhere.
smallest amount, you got X-ray vision for it now.
Everywhere, man. Everywhere.
And you probably had to stop the person. Sorry, sir, ma'am, but da 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 da, this, that, and that, and I have the product that can help solve this. Oh, you do? Well, what is it?
It's funny you
Damn.
mentioned that. This ironic. This is so funny. So I was ironically I was in Grand Prairie, Texas at Six Flags. And no, this is Arlington. Six Flags is in Arlington, right?
Yeah, Six Flags in Arlington.
Yes, I was in Arlington, and I was at Six Flags in line, and there was a little girl in front of me, and she had really, really bad eczema.
Oh,
And like I said, my eye literally goes to these things on people's skin, and it's just cause like the occupational hazard. But anyway, so I tap her and I said, "Excuse me, young lady." I was like, "Can you give this business card to your mother?" She has like maybe 14, 15 or something like that. But she took the card and she was like, "Oh, oh, I know you. I know you. I know this card. My mama love your product. Ooh." And people were like looking down the line, like, "What's going on? What's going on?" It made me feel so good, but I was a little embarrassed too, because I was like, "Man, like, it's like you like really." I didn't want
well,
to
it's
draw.
always nice to bump into a real life fan.
It is. Oh my gosh, it really touched me too, because here we are, in Dallas. But she said her mother lives in Chicago. So her mother saw me in Chicago. So just fast forward, I got her information. Her aunt who she was with gave me their information. So I got in touch with the lady, and the lady was like, "Oh my God, I totally missed it. Man, like, I'm so glad to see you. I'm so glad my daughter ran into you, and this, that, and the other thing." And like, she was a client of mine for some years before, but I don't know how they lost contact. I think maybe we changed our website. But yeah, I know I definitely changed it, because it was Spotify. Now I'm on internet. But anyway, so but fast forward, and now she's a butter baby. She's a butter baby.
Now,
But
I,
yeah,
I will,
small world.
I will admit it's always nice to bump into someone that, if you have a business that helps people in any way, it's always nice to bump into someone that you've helped. So for the longest time, like my first channel, YouTube channel, the App Lifestyle, I had this whole like free course on how to master the art of making money with Uber Eats and how to increase your earnings.
Okay.
And for those that don't know, I have this group called the Veggie Outers, where it's all about teaching people how to switch to a plant-based diet or eat more plant-based foods. So we go out to restaurants, review them, and I drop some game about veganism. And this created a scenario where for a while I could not go inside any restaurant without someone recognizing me. Like, hey, you're that guy, you're the founder of the Veggie Outers, or hey, I remember seeing you on YouTube when I typed it in, like how to do Uber Eats and stuff, and they would just come up and want to talk to me and say thank you. Like if you're in the business of helping people, that's probably going to happen to you, and it's a good feeling.
It's a wonderful feeling. It absolutely is. The family members, I can tell you the funniest stories, but I just know for certain I often tell, like, I tell women, make sure you buy your husband some, because, they're going to take it. They're going to take it from you. Like, I'm just telling you, like, trust me, let him get his own, because he'll tell you he don't want to use yours. Here you go in there, ain't nothing left. So, and these stories will go on and on and on. Like, we get phone calls all the time about our, just funny stories about like butter thefts.
Butter thefts. Oh my gosh, I could believe it. I really could.
It's just trippy. It's so trippy. It's so trippy. But yeah, it's been a wonderful journey with this butter baby. We're expecting and building and recreating ourselves, revamping, just so that we do stay valid, and we stay, we never want to compromise
Mm-hmm.
our product. We never want to compromise it. You know, that's one of the things that we made a pact on. A fun fact, we got offered, I'm not gonna
Did
disclose
someone offer to buy the business?
the amount. Yes, absolutely. Someone offers a very, very prominent business we all know, offered to buy is Butter Baby, but the price was just so hilarious. It was downright insulting, but but nevertheless, this particular business wanted to buy us, so we were very, very impressed. But that let us know, you know, what we had. We have a wonderful product that people absolutely love. So we still think word of mouth is by far the best form of communication and form of marketing ever. Because if you've tried it, once you try it, we are not concerned that you won't come back.
You know, that's actually a great segue into this next question. But like overall, how do you make money from the business? Because this seems like a very well, I know it's a very vendor friendly business, so you can probably go to events, market it that way, or you can be selling it on your website. It's actually kind of malleable. So, like, what are some ways that you make money from the business?
Oh, we make sure that we're staying valid everywhere. That's wherever the people are is where we go. So we make sure
Mhm.
that we never put our ducks in all our eggs in one basket. So we're online, we're at expos, we're at parties, we're at private parties, we're at baby showers, we're at wedding receptions, we're at adult parties, you know,
Yep,
anniversaries. We're everywhere. We are everywhere, man. We are
got
everywhere.
you. Do you have like some kind of like system that you use to like choose these different places that you go? Like, all right, so we want to hit up some events.
Mhm.
Like, what happens in your mind to make that happen? Like,
Oh,
yeah.
I am not, look, Eventbrite. I love place platforms like
Mhm.
Eventbrite, social media pages like Facebook and Instagram, of course. Because like I said, we have to stay
Mhm.
valid. We have to make sure that we are where the people are. So
Right,
YouTube, we have infomercials, all of our information. Like we definitely have our own website. So
right,
that's
right.
really where most of our marketing comes from. So all of our information is there. We just basically send everyone there. So that's the central location, our online site. Because whether we're out in the field, we also have distributors that can buy their own personal kits and they can make money off of it, kind of like Avon or Mary Kay. You know, it's
So
formulated like that.
that's an affiliate program.
No, they're not an affiliate program. You mean Mary Kay and
No, no,
and
no. I mean, like you had mentioned that people could buy products from you and distribute on their own. Would
People
that
can
be?
buy they, I'm sorry.
Oh, I was gonna ask like what you're saying as far as distribution. Is that
Mhm.
a form of an affiliate program for you, or is that something different?
Yes, well, for our customers, we have customers that love it so much that they wanted to sell some. So we created a kit, a starter package, and they've escalated from the starter package. But we have anything from the starter package to a mega package that they could buy. And what we do is we wholesale it to them. So they make half. So they just, as long as they're, you know, recycling it, they paying us half, they're making half of what we make. Because like I said, this business, I remember not, you know, that job. It just circles back to that job that I really wanted to get rid of. You know, I didn't want to be a part of it. And It's Butter Baby literally made me as a single mother self-sufficient. And so I just wanted to pay it forward to other people that, you know, might have lost their job or they needed assistance and, you know, not trying to, you know, rob them, you know, but it's a 50-50 thing with me. If you help me grow, I'm going to help you grow. So that's why we made it a 50-50 thing. So the wholesale for our
Hmm.
packages are a half off. So that you
Okay.
make half of what we make.
Yeah, it's different from an affiliate program. So it's kind of like a wholesale retail opportunity for customers that want to make a little extra money.
I want to like make a
There's
little extra.
probably an official term for it, but yeah, it's different from affiliate marketing.
Mm-hmm.
But you've effectively like your super fans, as I would call them, or well, Pat Flynn coined the term, but I'm just going to use it here. Super fans, these are the people that love your products, and you give them opportunity to actually make money with you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And our customers do too. So when you call, you place an order, you don't even have to place the order. You send a friend to place the order and they place the order. We send you gifts. Or we'll send you $5 off of every $50, I believe. It's every $50 product or more, you make money off of it. So this is what we just recently started this about maybe about a month or so ago. Because once again, we just want to pay it forward. That's really the bottom line of it. Our customers have been so loyal to us and so wonderful and so fun. This whole experience has been fun. It's been some downs, but majority
Right,
is
right.
only uphill with this butter baby. We continue to growing. We have our family. It's a family oriented business, and they're learning and they're growing, and they're even excited to one day take over the business. So I'm like really excited.
Gotcha. In fact, we're just gonna drop some financial anatomy in here. But I tell people who are self-employed or getting their side hustle on that there's two forms of income. There's active income and passive income. And you have set up to some degree a side of your business that has a scalable source of passive income. Because if you get enough customers that are open to distributing, then you're making money and they're making money too. But a good chunk of that is passive because you're not going out there personally moving it. So everyone, just take that's a mad teachable moment. Think about a passive side too, especially in business where you have products that you can move vendor wise. This is a great opportunity if you just kind of think outside the box.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So with going on with that vendor theme, do you have any tips as far as when you sell products at these vendor events? Any tactics or tips you want to tell the audience that can help them like move their products if they're at events? Because different people are at these vendor events. Some people, or I'm not going to go into the different products that people move, but if they have products that they can move, what are some tips they can use to move that product at vendor events, whether it be getting more people to your vendor table or when people are there, helping close on them easier. Like, what's your thoughts on that?
Know your product. Know your product. That's first and foremost. Like I think
So
that
you
should
can
be the
handle
number.
rebuttals.
Like how the universal rule is know thyself. That's like one of the number. But I keep because I'm telling you, man, it's like a relationship. You know your husband, you know your wife, you know your spouse, know your product, know them, know the product so much that any question that might befall you, you know how to answer it, effectively and efficiently. Live your product. It's like I said, sleep with your product. Let it be a part of your dreams. Absorb it. One thing about it is if you don't believe in your own product, people can tell. And I've just never been the type to force a spiel on somebody, or I'm trying to explain to them or try to convert them to use something I wouldn't even use because it's dishonest personally to me. But if
Mhm.
you believe in if you believe in the product, then it will that whole situation will come out, people will see it. I absolutely love It's Butter Baby. Like I went to Illinois in January. It was blizzarding. It was horrible, and I forgot my shea butter, and I can't explain to you how severely cracked I was.
Oh
Cracked.
man.
I was cracked, like cracked. It was horrible. Like if you know what Illinois feels like in the wintertime, it is nothing but blistering, burning. It's a burning feeling. It does not feel good. It feels like 1,000 needles are sticking at you when you're in that kind of temperature. But for me to be out there and not have shea butter, it was the worst, like one of the worst experience I've ever encountered. So, but that just gave me more momentum, more passion to do what I did. Because once I got back, it was a learning lesson. I didn't know how badly a lot of people needed the shea butter until I
Hmm.
was without it. And
Mm,
so my thing is to my answer is to once again live your product, be a part of it, whatever it is that you're doing, make sure that it's a part of you, so that way when you're talking to people, you know exactly what it is you're talking about.
got you. I think that's a little. It might sound cliche, but it's also very underestimated. I've seen people at vendor events where they're just there. It's kind of like, hey, if you see it and want it, it's yours. And the conversion rate is just me going off what I see visually because I'll usually be waiting in the line at something else, just kind of observing the scenery. Then I just focus in on them. The conversion rate tends to be crap, like 20 or 30%,
Sure.
which is, but if you actually know your product, you're gonna get some rebuttals, and then the whole line behind them hears you answering these rebuttals. These are the questions that they were gonna ask. So when they get to you, well, you've already sold this person. When they get to you, like, oh, I was gonna ask those questions, but I heard the answer.
Yeah.
So how much does this cost? Or like what size? It literally just comes down to that.
Sure.
Because
Sure.
I've been at events where I've just seen, like, if people that don't know their product, it's a little ridiculous.
It
And
is.
on the flip side, everyone knows I have a network marketing background. This is part of the reason that me and my downline were able to keep our conversion rate around 80 or 90%. Because I made sure that not only did I know the products, I was passionate about it, but my downline was too. So
Sure.
I didn't have to be there, and we would still be making money.
See? And that's the beauty. That's why I say it all starts with fun with us. The 67 shea butters and how, like, the different aromatics, and it's fun and it's inviting, and it's, you can spend time with your family, online doing it, and you can order packages for one another, and it's a beautiful experience. But because we created it like that, when it comes to our distributors, they got involved. Like, it's an emotional attachment to it, because we know that it's not only helping you, but it's fun to do. So you're making money, having fun, enjoying what it is you do. It's not a hard situation. We provide the shea butters for you. You don't have to do any of the production work, none of the assembly work, none of the shipping work.
Right, right.
So, we take all of that off of your hands. And basically you're just there to have fun. You're just there to pass it along. So you're making money while doing it. So we just make sure that whoever we're getting involved, they are, like, in it to win it, because it's a good feeling to help people.
Right, right. So keeping on with the theme of, like, events, how do you determine whether an event is worth going to or not? Because, like, you have some events that are packed to the T, but they may be charging a vendor fee that may or may not be worth it. You have some events that they're free, but they don't have the foot traffic. It's almost like, why did we bother coming out here? So how do you determine if an event is worth going to when setting up shop?
Geographical location will be first. So location. So I didn't. We also apply that online as well. So before we go to a place, we're making sure that we're scouting out the location. Is it safe? Is there going to be adequate parking? That's very important, because if you rent a space with a lot of parking, they must be anticipating a lot of people to show up in that parking lot.
That's a good tip.
Versus if you get a show, you see a show and it's off of a main street, but there are no parking there's no parking availability. It's like, what are the chances? Because I personally, I'm just speaking for me.
Okay.
Don't invite me somewhere and ain't no parking, because if I'm looking for a park too long, I might just be like, you know what? Let me go see what Whataburger do, or let me go.
I was just thinking that, like,
I've been wanting to see this movie, since the movie theater was right there. Let me just go ahead, pop in, since I ain't got.
Like, instead of going to that event, like, you know what? I passed the restaurant and looked intriguing on the way here. It was like 5 minutes back. Let me just go back that way and get something to eat.
You get something to eat, exactly. and that's a sad truth. But it does two things. It serves two purposes. Number one, it teaches you that if you're going to have a show and you want enough people to come, you have to accommodate those people, and then number two, you obviously need to know your market. You know what I mean? Who's willing. If you've promoted to the people that live in that surrounding area that can just come out of their building and walk to your establishment, then yeah, now you got something, And like I said, this is what we're paying attention to. So that's one thing. And then also the followers on traffic online. If we're looking and we see there's a lot of people say they're going to show up or they're not going to show up, we're looking at that too. But that there's a clause to that one. I'm gonna say for lack of a better word, I'm gonna say there's a clause to that
disclaimer.
A disclaimer. Thank you, because that one is tricky, that particular one, and the reason why is because
people are fickle.
here in Mississippi, there's no there. You're wasting your time setting an event and expecting people to pay on Eventbrite, because how it functions here in the South is they come if they got time to come. You see what I'm saying? So they're not going to adhere for the most part to Eventbrite, because they paid their money, and anything can happen in between that time and the time you actually get ready to leave. So here in Mississippi, I'm just gonna say we don't do the Eventbrite, none of that. We will pay at the door, and we'd rather pay more money at the door because we know for sure we're going that day than to pay online, your prepay, and then you can't get your money back. You see what I mean?
Right.
So a lot of places, especially in the South, are like that, where they're not going to go to Eventbrite, and they're not going to prepay for a ticket for an event. So that's why I say that's a catchphrase, a catch-22 to that one, because somehow you can do Eventbrite with some events in some regions, but you can't do it in I mean, it makes no sense. It's a waste of money and time and energy to do it in other regions. So yeah, that's another one. Also, space. Looking at space when you go to an expo or you're doing where it's a potential event. How big is it? And what'd you say? It's 400 vendors that's gonna fit in that space? Like that's
this tiny little space, like.
Right, this is small. How this gonna work? So we're looking at that too. Also, we're looking at if you get too much space, but you hadn't promoted it. We hadn't seen you promote it in the last 2-3 weeks since you first put the flyer out. Like we ain't heard
nothing. Yeah, it's a red flag, huh?
That's a red flag. That's a red flag. It really is. And also, finally, the financial, the amount. So, like for instance, Essence costs a lot of money to be a part of Essence, but the return is great. Like, just think about it. Like, you have like thousands, tens, 20s, 30,000 people there for the whole weekend, and $1,200 is not a lot of money. Or $2,400, or let's just say $5,000. If they want you to pay $5,000 for a booth for 3 days, with about 50,000 people coming,
yes, in your targeted demographic too.
Yeah, and your item sells for like $20. Do that math.
Right.
It ultimately is the finance as well. Just figure it out. And who all's coming? That's another thing. That's important. Who has already decided to go? So like most of the expos, I look at if different hair care companies are going to attend as well. Because if they are, I am. Because they're just as thorough in their homework and research as I am in mine. So I'm making sure that wherever they go,
to work for you.
Yeah, wherever they go, I'm going.
Okay,
absolutely. But if you come across vendors, and it's okay to have some no names. I mean, I was a no name. Even the big companies were no names at one point. So like, completely understand that. But when you've worked your way from freshman to senior, and now you're a college graduate in this thing we call business, you kind of pick up on these things of like who's gonna be there. So who's who is very important. So
what? Piggybacking off of that, it's good to like when you're at these vendor events, they're networking opportunities. You could meet someone that comes to your booth and like, hey, they could change your life in some form of fashion. But there's also the other vendors. Yeah. So a lot of times you may have people that are related to your industry, but they're not direct competitors. They're actually complementary to whatever you're offering. So for instance, you offer skin products and this other vendor offers hair products. Well, y'all are actually complementary to each other. So maybe y'all exchange numbers, because whatever event you're going to be interested in and going to, chances are I benefit too, and vice versa.
Oh yeah, that's a good one as well. Like that accounts for a lot of my referrals too, because I have It's a lot of vendors that we vend with that know about other vending opportunities, and vice versa with me too. I still contact other vendors that I've done, been vending with, and be like, hey, there's this event, coming up, you want to go? And I'll just send them the flyer. And now it's like to the point where it's without thought. Like whenever I see one come across, and now I've come across so many vendors that even if I'm not going and I see something that'll benefit, like if I know a hat vendor, he sells specialty hats. And it was like about a few months ago, I saw a vending expo for like a car show, it was an auto show. Well, like some of his hats got like little car ideas or car, emblems
on the hat.
And so
Okay.
that I immediately sent it to him because I knew that's something that he'd be in, so.
Right.
So yeah, absolutely, absolutely. You pick up on networking at these events too that also help you map out when you want to go and where you want to go.
Cool. All right, so my audience, they're not gonna let me get out of asking specific questions about the Benjamin. So we got to go there. A lot of people are gonna ask, like, what's the most you've ever made, like at an event as a vendor?
Ooh, about $15,000, a little bit over. And it was beautiful. Like I said, I will say back in my day.
You sound like Roberto Blake. I had him on not the last podcast, but the podcast before. Yeah, as a saying, he said he does this voice like back in my day. Then he goes into like a mini tangent. Then he drops a lesson.
Pre-COVID, everything was wonderful. Oh my gosh. You can go, oh my gosh. It was like Bassett back in my day, but pre-COVID, it was just before pre-COVID happened. It was smooth sailing. It was so beautiful, such a wonderful, all the way up until that. That's how wonderful my life was. And then, like I said, when COVID shut all of the businesses down and made everybody go inside and hibernate, we're all peeking back out like we're turtling now.
Turtles.
Everybody's turtling now to see it.
But it's a good thing you had this available online though, right?
That was my my business savior as well. It was going online, and that I think that was one of the things. I never thought that COVID would happen, but something told me that I needed to, like, a website was important. And when you really think about it, a website should always be important. Like that should be like.
Oh yeah, of course. I don't take anyone seriously if they don't have a website, to be honest.
That because it's your digital address, It's like where am I?
It's your virtual real estate.
If
not Instagram or Facebook or whatever.
I need to know where I'm sending my money to. I need to know if y'all within the guidelines. I need to know if you say you doing what you say. I need to know if other customers are talking to you or even want to buy your stuff. So this is why having a website was important. But yeah, you're right. If it wasn't for having that website when we did, that would have been bad.
Right. Okay. So about how much per month do you make from the business?
It just depends. We go through seasons. So our shea butter, as you know, they're seasonal. So like this year, I mean, every time around, this is our peak season, fall and winter. This is our most funnest time ever.
I was gonna ask, like, do sales go up in the winter?
Yes, and it's because, like I said, this shea butter is for several reasons. Number one, it's getting cold. Putting shea butter on your body is very important.
Right.
In the cold, especially in the cold. And then another thing is because we have so many packages and all of the seasonal holidays are here and at hand. We're getting, and all of the the hibernation, I call the hibernation holidays, where you are hibernation events where you having your adult parties are around this time, and your personal parties, and even the birthday parties, they're not outside anymore. Well, we can't bring butter outside because we have shea butter, so butter will melt. So
right.
Lesser season for our mid-spring, mid-August. this like our lower times. So, and on average, anywhere from monthly, I would say about ballpark anywhere between 9 and 20.
Mm-hmm. So like 9,000 and 20,000, or
Mm-hmm.
like okay, gotcha. Cool. And when it comes, honestly, I was really interested to hear like which season would be more popular, winter or summer. It's interesting to see that that's winter, because I know
Mm-hmm.
like people do wear shorts and stuff in the summer,
Uh-huh.
and they may not necessarily need it per se, but like your shea butter is very scented, so what do you want to be smelling nice?
Sure,
Where
and we get customers. Don't get me
no,
wrong,
no, no, no,
but
no. Yeah, no.
but
I
because
understand. I was genuinely
it's hot,
curious. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, because it's hot outside. It's like anybody like I don't want to put no oil on. I don't even want to put my skin on.
Like shea butter, more like shea oil, because the
Right.
heat.
That's exactly what happens now. With that being said, we carry the shea oils now. We make that money almost as equal as we do the shea butters,
Hmm.
because we carry shea oils and we specifically promote those during the hotter climate times because we
And
have no butter is thicker.
and for those of y'all that are watching the video on YouTube, y'all saw earlier in the show, I actually did pull up her website, and we'll be sure to link it in the description and also the pinned comment. But can you drop the website verbally for like the audio listeners? Because we're
Sure,
talking about it, I know a lot of people are going to want to visit.
it's butter, baby. And as spelled too, there's no weird way of spelling it. That's ITSBUTTERBABY.com. Yep.
Okay.
And also,
So
I'm the butter lady on Facebook. Also the butter lady on Instagram. So if you have any questions or you want to order from there, feel free to do so. Also, for all of the butter babies that are already butter babies, make sure you tell the people, anyone you refer to put their notes, put your name in their notes comment, so that way you'll receive your free gift or your $5.
that sounds awesome. So, like, as far as since it's the Side Hustler Society, I always ask this question of like, obviously something like this could be a great side hustle, but obviously you removed the word side off the side hustler, just became a hustler. So, like, what would you say was the biggest difference? Well, did you ever do the business part time at all? Or did you hop in like full time, like right off the bat?
Um, Okay, so I still don't know how to explain that, because when I was working at the time, and the shea butter situation happened because my son, at the time, he had eczema on his back. He was
Mm,
2,
oh,
and it itched so bad, it was burning so bad that he was
mm,
scratching it, and he was crying. I'm like, couldn't put mittens on him because he was 2, so you could easily
right,
snatch those babies off. But it's
right,
like steadily putting his hands down and keeping him from bleeding and peeling his skin back on his lower back. So
yeah,
we were at a grocery store. I was at Walmart one time, and this African lady came up to me and she said, "Why you don't get that butt shea butter?" And I said, "What?" It's like I'm looking around like, "Excuse me, strange lady that's talking to me in public. I don't know who you are." And she took out this big clump of orange stuff and she was like, "Keep it." And she just walked off. And I didn't want to be rude
mm,
and throw it down, so I put it in my purse, because everybody was looking at me in the line like, "What just happened?" But anyway, fast forward, I'm at home, and my son is like bleeding. He's scratching, he's crying so hard. You know that cry where they're
yeah,
like you don't hear
yeah,
anything for a while. That
yeah,
kind of cry. I'm like, God, like, what am I supposed to do? Because this hydrocortisone that my doctor gave me to put on his back didn't work, and Tiger Balm and none of this stuff works. Vaseline didn't work. What do I do? And I heard God literally tell me, "Well, I mean, I gave you something, but you don't want to use it." I'm like, "What? This?" So I go in my purse and I pull this stuff out. And I'm like, I open it, and it's the raw shea butter. I'm like, ooh,
yeah.
ooh.
That's the unscented. Yeah.
I'm like, they put this on. So I'm like, the blood of Jesus, the blood of Jesus. Because I don't know.
Oh gosh.
It was terrible. But one thing I know for certain is after about an hour or so, he stopped crying. Maybe like a week later, I didn't see any scabs. 2 weeks later, it was completely gone. So while working, so I wanted to explain so that when I tell you it didn't happen like that. I was working and experimenting with, whipping it and formulating, but it still didn't dawn on me that I was going to go into business for myself. I just said,
Right.
this product is so awesome. I'm still going to use it on my baby. I just don't like how it smells. So I started working on it for me because I didn't like how it smelled. So working like test 87, proof 87, example sample later. Kumquat was my very first shea butter. I went and got an extract from Whole Foods and I put it in there and I'm like, oh, this smells good. Okay, this gonna work. So I, whipped it and everything, and then I kept going through these processes of whipping it. Sometimes the whip wasn't creamy, sometimes it was. Then it just, I don't know, it became a thing for me. Like, so to answer your question, it kind of tilted into the business because while I was working, I, gave some to my mom, and my mom came, she told it to my aunts, and then my aunts told it to their daughters have told their cousins have told their friends, and next thing you know, I had this money in my hand making shea butter, and I didn't know,
It sounds like you were kind of thrust into it full time.
yeah,
Okay.
I didn't know what was happening, so I didn't purposely say I'm going to quit after this many times and just go right into it. None of that happened.
Mm-hmm. Got you. Okay. Because I always ask, like, what's the full-time potential of a hustle? But clearly, this has unlimited full-time potential. I will say for anyone that's getting in the vendor space, uh, go ahead and do your vendor stuff, but think about setting up some kind of balance where you do have that passive income too. Because the vendor space, it could easily, well, for one thing, there's a seasonal aspect. So when it is the slow time, you can kind of help offset that if you have that distribution thing like Issa has set up. But another thing is like it's just a situation where you can end up in this quagmire where like money you got to go to these events, and you don't want that to be your only source. So make sure you kind of diversify if you're going to enter this vendor space full time. Wouldn't you say?
That's right. Like we personally make retailer products as well. That's another avenue that's a passive income. I've been working with a couple of retailers for about 7 years, 9 years, and we create their products. We design their labels. They basically told us what they wanted. They said they wanted a similar product. They just don't want, they want their own line of our product. So this is what we provided that for them. And like I said, 9 years later, they're doing just as good as we're doing.
My next question was going to be, what do you feel has made Is Butter Baby so successful? But I think you've answered that question literally the whole show, so we're going to skip that one. Okay, so the audience doesn't know this, but you're an artist, so like feel free to drop your like your artist social media, whatever, if people want to check out your music. Where can people find you?
Sure. Well, my name is Jackie as an artist. Somebody wants to tell everybody.
Yeah, if she's open to it, we'll bring her back for another show to break down like the artist stuff. You can see she's kind of a jack of a few different trades.
Yeah. Jackie. I'm an R&B soul recording artist. I've opened for so many people in my lifetime, including Usher and LL Cool J and not Mary J. Blige, almost Sunshine Anderson and Erykah Badu, Levert, Stevie Wonder. I've done a lot of things in my life. This business is basically it's my baby, the baby that I had to take a sabbatical.
Gosh.
This is my baby and my baby daddy. But
wow.
But I am performing. I just finished doing a show for JSU and JSU radio station that launched at Jackson State University. It was such an awesome event. My next concert is going to be in Vicksburg, Mississippi at the Convention Center. Like I said, R&B soul. You can find me on official Jackie on Instagram. So it's Jackie twice, no spaces.
Cool. And we'll leave a link in the show notes to her IG too. Okay. So we're nearing the end of the show. I always ask my guests if they have any question they want to ask me. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be about this particular topic, but just any question.
I have a question. What's your favorite vegan restaurant? Because I should be in Dallas soon, so I just want to hit one up. So what would you recommend?
Okay, so we're gonna have a food question.
Now, we talked about this before, but let's just say, hypothetically speaking, that I'm not vegan, but I'm like, you know what? I'm sick of meat. Let me just and since I've never tasted vegan food, get me to the place that's just gonna be like, wow, man, listen, this is where it is.
The vegan food house.
The vegan food house. Okay.
In fact, the Veggie Outers has been. We actually just went like 2 months ago. Mm-hmm. Well, now a lot of people are going to be wondering, oh, what's that? I actually know the owner of the vegan food house, Elizabeth. So I guess I'll be linking that in the show notes too. Don't mind shooting some free business our way. But yeah, the vegan food house, it's probably the tastiest option in the Metroplex, in my opinion. But I wouldn't say just in my opinion, because they've been rated the #1 vegan restaurant in the DFW area pre-pandemic, then after pandemic. I don't think they've redone the competition again, but they're probably going to redo it again. And they'll probably win again. So, yeah, the vegan food house. Be sure to check them out.
Got it.
All right. Well, with that being said, I would say that we can conclude this episode of the Side Hustler Society podcast. If you're watching us on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe if you're new, and give us a thumbs up if you found value on this video. And if you're listening to us on iTunes, if you gotta leave us a review, tell us what we can improve on or what you think about the show, that'd be greatly appreciated. And it helps more people find the show. And don't forget to look up Issa's businesses, both the artist side and It's Butter Baby, in the show notes. You trust me, you won't be disappointed. With that being said, we're gonna go ahead and hop out. This Elijah out. Peace, everyone.
Thanks for having me. Take care, y'all.
This episode may be over, but your hustling journey has just started. Visit thesidehustlesociety.com to access all links and resources mentioned in the show that will help you on your hustler's journey.